Alrighty guys, what is up and welcome back to the channel of Nwadei MMA, where I give you my thoughts, but more importantly, ask for you guys' thoughts as you guys are the MMA community. And today, we are looking at the recap of UFC Kansas City, the fight night, with Max Holloway and Arnold Allen headlining the card. A lot of good things and interesting things happened on this card. If you are new to my channel, I do like to recap most UFC events as well as one championship events, sometimes some boxing and jiu-jitsu events, but mostly mixed martial arts events. And also, as some of you have probably seen, I do record my reactions to a lot of these fights as well and give you in-depth fight analysis and predictions before each of these events. So if these sound like something that interests you, then please go ahead and give this video a thumbs up to support your local content creator, and you're more than welcome to join the channel and subscribe for more in-depth fight analysis and recaps and just daily MMA coverage and content. However, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into recapping UFC Kansas City. Okay, so first, guys, cheers. Another great event. As you could probably hear, I am a little bit sick, so if my voice is annoying to you, I apologize. You won't hear it for too long. Oh, that feels so good. Okay. So, first off, Zach Cummings and Ed Herman ended up retiring together after Zach Cummings came into the third round with vengeance. I mean, he had over 3 knockdowns in the fight against Ed Herman. He ended up getting a TKO win in his home city, ended up retiring, and what a beautiful moment for 2 UFC vets, to be honest, to be a part of that war and to be on the winning side of the war for Zach Cummings. Both of these guys have been in the UFC forever, so it's good to see that they're retiring, and it's good to see that they ended off on a high note, more so for Zach Cummings than Ed Herman. But Ed Herman shouldn't hang his head about anything either. Far too often guys don't, get out on their own terms, and so I just think this is something that's good to see. Following that fight, we had Brandon Royval knocking out Mateo's Nicolau. This was a very high-profile flyweight fight, and even Dana White admitted to his mistake of it being too early on the card, because not only are these guys scrappers and bangers, they both are coming off a win over Matthew Schnell, and both put on really good performances against him. Not only are they high-level and exciting fighters, but they're both young and they're both going against each other. I mean, Brandon Royval, the way he hit Mateos with that knee was just picture perfect. I mean, he saw him dipping his head. He ended up just throwing the knee and extending it further past his hip line, and he caught him clean. And that's what happens when you eat a knee clean. I mean, not many people can eat that and still survive. So congratulations to Brandon Royval. Brandon Royval, guys, I know some of y'all might not know who that is, but if you don't know, now you know. I mean, this guy, he might be the best flyweight in the world. If you remember, he was kind of winning that fight against Brandon Moreno before he dislocated his shoulder. And of course, that's part of the fight game. And you could arguably say that Brandon Moreno is one of the ones that made that happen. However, I think that without dislocating his shoulder, we might not have even seen Brandon Moreno fight for the title so soon. Because remember, he took the title shot so soon after that. It was like 2-3 weeks after that or something that him and Figueiredo agreed to fight for the title. And yeah, so you gotta remember, you can't be so quick to forget. And Brandon Royval is an absolute animal, and he's good everywhere. So I look forward to seeing him back up Pantoja and Moreno for the title. Obviously, I assume that fight will go through and that he'll end up getting the winner, but I look forward to that, man. And if it doesn't matter who wins, it's gonna be a hard fight to pick against Brandon Royval. Next fighter I want to talk about is Pedro Munhoz, coming back with this absolute vengeance. I mean, guys, Chris Gutierrez is an absolute animal, and he's good. Not only is he good and an animal and savage, he's also very big for the division. I didn't realize how big he was until he stepped into that cage with Pedro Munhoz. I mean, he looked like almost like the Alex Pereira difference with Israel Adesanya, if you catch my drift. He just looked like he had a bigger frame, bigger bones, and it seemed like he might have been cutting a bit of weight to get down to 135 pounds. But aside from that, I think that he didn't fight a bad fight. I think it really came down to the defense of each fighter, because both fighters were checking everything, so they really had to throw a lot of feints in there. It was a high level striking match, and that's a lot coming from a guy like Pedro Munhoz, who's really known for his grappling, his guillotine, and then his forward pressure. He's not known for being the most technical striker on the feet, but we got to see a glimpse of everything he's been working on, and the man is getting better every fight. That's hard to say for someone in their 30s, but Pedro Munhoz is improving, and I'm happy to see it. He's a tough guy to get past. That's why the bantamweight division is extremely stacked. And Chris Gutierrez, I think he'll be back and better. I think he'll watch this fight and understand that he probably should have pushed forward a little bit more. It's just that we don't see what he's feeling in there. He probably felt Pedro's right hand a couple of times and was like, yeah, I don't want any part of that, because he did get dropped. He did get hurt a couple times. And you know, he's the one in there fighting, not us. So yeah, he could have been more aggressive, and that would have helped him make it harder for the judges, but I think the judges gave it to the right one. I think Pedro did a really good job of being the one to lead the dance for majority of the fight, and being the one to be able to push forward and throw combinations in order to land one right off the end on the circle out multiple times. And I'm very excited to see where Pedro Munhoz goes from here on out, because he's fought pretty much everyone in the top 5, damn near in the top 10. Like, are we gonna see him rematch someone like a Rob Font, or are we gonna see him rematch a guy like Sean O'Malley or something like that in the future? Obviously Sean's waiting on the title shot. I don't see that happening anytime soon, but or is he gonna fight a guy like Peter Yan? What that's the only guy really that he hasn't fought. I mean, if you look at the bantamweight division, Song Yadong, Peter Yan, Marlon Vera, and Corey Sandhagen are the only ones he really hasn't fought. And yeah, those would all be interesting fights. So which one of those do I want to see him go against next? Yeah, personally, I think Song Yadong, yeah, he has a fight. I believe he's fighting this weekend. He's fighting against Ricky Simone, which I expect him to get the victory in. But Marlon Vera fight, he didn't get much damage. Corey Sandhagen fight, or even a Petr Yan fight, I think all of those make sense, and it would be a good fight for Pedro for all of those. Now, Corey Sandhagen, he is trying to fight upward, and he is trying to get that Marab fight, so I don't think to see that one happening. I think it's mainly between Petr Yan and Marlon Vera, but the UFC likes to match winners up with winners. Pedro, I know he wants to fight ahead of himself. We'll see where that thing goes. Again, let me know in the comments down below what y'all think. But moving forward, Ion Cutelaba and Tanner Boser. I thought that one was stopped a little bit early. I don't know how you can stop it when the fighter is literally doing all he can to get back to his feet. Yes, he got dropped badly. Yes, he was still hurt even after they stopped and he was walking back. And you could see he was still a bit hurt. But the man's fighting for a lot more than like an amateur fight where they're just fighting for experience. He's in the UFC. He's fighting for not only his contract and his livelihood and his money, but also, you know, a chance at the belt or moving forward in the rankings. So I feel like that kind of sucks for Tanner Boser, but Ion Cutelaba did his job, hurt him. He's not in control of the stoppage. Honestly, a couple more shots landed, he might have been clean out, so the ref might have saved him, but I did think it was an early stoppage. I thought that Tanner Boser was doing everything to get to his feet. He was getting to his feet. Yes, he was eating shots, but he was moving. He was still moving and fighting. Don't agree with the stoppage, and I guess congrats to Ion Cutelaba. He did all he could. He looked good. I mean, he has power. We all knew that. And now that he has confidence, I'm interested to see how he fights in his next fight. So there's my thoughts on that. And now, Edson Barbosa. We all knew he was a killer. Everyone knew Edson was a killer, and at 45, it's only worse. It's only worse. And god damn it, if that man doesn't have the best frame out of anyone in the UFC, I mean, just, you know, I don't want to come off a certain type of way, but you know, God, yeah. But Edson Barbosa, he looked really good. You know, he led every single part of that fight. Beautiful footwork. If you guys want tips on footwork, all you had to do is look at Edson Barbosa or Natalia Silva. And I'm going to keep bringing up Natalia Silva because she's that girl, UFC women's flyweight division. Just go look at her. She's going to be a future world champion. But aside from that, Edson Barbosa and his footwork looked great. His ability to get off the cage and defend early, those takedowns, great. He ended up throwing a bunch of leg kicks and body kicks, and you could tell Billy, he was just like, okay, it's time to get it to the ground. And the fact that he landed that knee, not only did he land it and time it perfectly, yes, we get that, but some of y'all don't understand how hard it is to land a knee under pressure while you're getting hit. I mean, he got hit by that cross. It wasn't just a cross thrown in midair just to set up the takedown. It was meant to land as well, and of course set up the takedown too, but it landed first, and then he went for the takedown, ate that knee, and yeah, good stoppage by the referee. Obviously, he was pretty much out of it. He came back kind of quick, but yeah, he would have just eaten a couple more punches. It wouldn't have been pretty sight to see. I'm happy they stopped it. I like Billy Q a lot. I think he's a really great fighter. I just thought Edson, man, he looked like a monster. He looked like a monster, and he ain't going nowhere. Who do y'all want to see him fight? Jesus. I mean, yeah. I mean, Edson Barbosa, I want to see him back into that top five. You know, that fight against Bryce Mitchell looked really good, but I low-key want to see him make his way back to the top, get a top 5 opponent. I believe Billy Q was in the top 10, if I'm not mistaken, but get a top 5 opponent, get string 2 or 3 wins together, put him into that title contention. I believe he's trying to make one last run. I think that his mindset is right. He said he was in the best shape of his life, and that he promises his next one's going to be even better. I love Edson Barbosa. I really do, and I want to see him do well. Guys, who should he fight next? Should they lob him up one, or are the killers at 145 just too good for any of these fights to be a lob? You tell me. But moving on to the main event, Max Holloway absolutely looked phenomenal, and Arnold Allen didn't look bad either. A lot of people were, well, not a lot of people, Dana White was kind of saying that Arnold Allen should have turned it on earlier, and yeah, in hindsight, maybe, but I think a lot of guys are forgetting or forget to remember that, yeah, it's a fight, and he's getting punched in the face, he's getting kicked, he has to figure out this puzzle of Max Holloway, and yeah, Max easily could have dropped him the way he did at the end of the third, a little bit sooner, and he could have been finished. So that's why he didn't rush him earlier in the fight. So yeah, I thought that Arnold Allen is of that caliber, like I said in my prediction, and I thought that whoever led the dance was gonna win. Max Holloway led the dance. He ended up getting the win. He's a tricky puzzle to figure out, constantly switching stances, constantly throwing that lead leg side kick to add into his combinations. Max, where does he go from here? He wants TKZ, the Korean Zombie. I think they should give it to him. I think that'd be a fun fight. I think it'd be a good bystander fight for this title fight between Yair and Volk, so that Max doesn't have to be on the sidelines. He didn't take too much damage. I thought Arnold landed some really big shots, and I think that they will see each other again in the future. Both young, both very talented. Arnold Allen, like I said, is still of the highest level and of the highest caliber, and the fact that he turned it on in that last round when his coach told him to, that's what every coach wants to see out of their fighters. I mean, if you could listen to them like that, if you could find your entries, find your openings, and you've solved that puzzle enough through the previous 4 rounds to go and get in that 5th, beautiful. But congrats to Max. He got the win. He looked phenomenal. And who doesn't love Max? The whole Kansas City was cheering so loud for him. I'm so happy for Max. Okay, yeah. Either way, we got predictions coming soon. One championship, Jonathan Haggerty versus Nungo, that's coming soon. Ryan Garcia versus Tank Davis, that's coming soon. And a lot more. We got a lot more one championship content for those of you who want to see that. Please, I really encourage all of you to start following one championship. They're about to start having fights in the US very soon, so please, as much as you can, start following that. I will try my best to help y'all follow along with that. So guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning into my channel. If you guys like what y'all are hearing, you like the future, you know, cheers to you. Take a drink with me, and y'all have a good one. Go ahead and leave a like on this video. Love you guys. Like, share, subscribe, comment your thoughts, please, below. And yeah, all stay safe, stay blessed. I'm out.